fresh concrete up ahead. But anyway, this is my first.
Stop.
He stopped me. Because here comes the next one. Arigatou gozaimasu. Yeah, so let's see if I can pull the screen up. Yeah, there's my screen. Now it's a real selfie stick here. So, okay, that's off to an auspicious start. But, okay, I just spent some time with the ladies at the front desk mapping out my route. I'm going to Costco. And I had chosen one that apparently was a lot farther away, and I was making things difficult on myself, so they hooked me up with directions to the closer one. And it should be really, really easy. But this is my first video on the new camera, and I did earlier do a time lapse from the hotel window, and I mean, I don't like that it shows the reinforcement wires in the window, but I mean, what you gonna do? That's the only way that you can get a video from that window. So I did that. I took 2 hours of video, snapping every 5 seconds, and that ended up being a 1 minute video. And it looks pretty good, except I was hoping to get a nice video of the sun creeping down the side of the building, but that only happened for 10 seconds before the clouds came in and blocked everything. But it still looks like an interesting video. I've only looked at it on the little tiny screen of the camera so far, but when I get back to the room, I have to redo my darn video that I just spent like 2.5 hours trying to make, because I don't know what's going on, but sometimes it blacks out certain clips, sometimes all of the clips, and I rendered it, and that took like an hour and a half that I just had to sit there and wait before I could upload it. And then when I went to upload it, I checked, and the first clip was just black, no sound or anything. So that means I got to start from scratch and do it 100% over. Okay, so that's gonna happen when I get back, but it's after 11 now, so I didn't want to delay going to Costco anymore. I'd like to, you know, take care of that, check it out, and come back at a decent time. So you'll see. But yeah, the ladies at the front desk, before I went down there and talked to them, I went on Google Maps and thought I had mapped it out perfectly, but I was confusing the heck out of the one girl that was trying to help me the most. And then the other girl came and tried to help, and she was confused too. And then the older lady came over, and her English was really, really good. And she determined where I wanted to go. And from that, she said, oh, well, this other one's closer, so why don't you go there instead? I'm like, okay, I just want to check out Japanese Costco. So she told me also that there's a mall like pretty much right next door, and I should check that out too. So we'll see. But the other bad part is that I don't know how much charge my battery pod has, because it seems to have used almost all of it to do the time lapse, but I did charge it as much as I could, and we'll see. But I mean, even on a full charge, it's barely good for 2 hours, and I don't know. I might have to break out the phone and put some phone videos in there also, and then we'll have a good comparison of which looks better, because I know that this camera has a very wide angle lens. Oh, look, it's Family Mart. And I think I might need some water on the train. So let's get some water and then we'll continue. We are in Shin Osaka Eki, which is the train station. And this is where I'm gonna catch my train. Despite what you might think from what you're seeing right now, it is bustling. But I don't know where to go. So I'll figure that out and I'll catch up with you at the train. This is where people park their bike to take the subway. And by the way, I was lying my ass off earlier. I was in some random office building that had a Starbucks. I wasn't even up to the station yet. So I'm about at the station now, I think. And again, I'll catch up with, oh, that sounded like a train. I'll catch up with you later. Bye. So far it's been a real learning experience. I got to the first stage of my journey. I had to walk from the hotel a few blocks. Got to the train station, purchased my ticket, 240 yen. And it was a bit confusing after that. I knew I had to be on the Midotsuji line. And I knew that I had to get to station M17. And the only trains that were coming were going to M30 and M23. And that was it. So I was confused. And then finally I figured out, oh, those are past my station, so it's going to be stopping at my station. So I got on one, and yes, it took me to my station, where I transferred to a different train to go to the next station. And that was confusing too, because I went to purchase my ticket and I was having trouble, and the guy, I had to use the call box, and the guy didn't speak English, but I did understand the word Ushiro, which means behind you. So I turned around and there was the office. So I went to the office, the guy came out, and he went behind the little machine where I was trying to buy my ticket, and he opened it up, shut down the machine, and said he didn't find my money, but my money had come out in the return thing apparently, and I didn't even notice it. And it turns out the problem I had was that I had put a brand new coin in, and the machine doesn't like brand new coins. So I had to dig out an old coin, and then it worked fine. So I got my ticket, got on my train, got to where I needed to make my next exchange. So when I got there, it was marked even worse than the previous stations. So I talked to the security guard and asked him where to buy a ticket, and he pointed me that direction. And then I whipped out my piece of paper and told him what station I needed to go to. And he just told me to, hey, look, this green train, get on this train right chunk. So I got on that train right chunk, went down 2 stations, and that was my station. So then I'm trying to exit the station, and after thinking I had a free ride, no, you have to have a ticket to make the turnstiles work. The turnstiles are more like flapping gates than actual turnstiles, but anyhow, I had to pay 170 more yen there, so that's 240, 280, and 170. And then I was on my merry way to walk to the Costco, except in the excitement, I forgot my camera. So I had to turn around and go back, and they had already snatched it up and held it for me, and as soon as they saw me, handed it to me. You know, thankfully, people are really honest. So then I start walking toward the Costco, and it's for me a long walk, since, you know, I haven't been in shape for so long now, and I decided to sit down here and take a little break. And as soon as I sat down, my butt felt wet, because yeah, it's been raining, so now I got a wet butt. Hi, I'm in the mall. Me and Santa. Or is that Colonel Sanders? I don't know. But I was crossing the street using the underground walkway, and I was getting confused. There were several different ways to go, but this nice lady who spoke really good English stopped to help me. Turns out she's retired from Panasonic and used to be in charge of foreign accounts. So her English was very good, and she got me into the mall and pointed me to the Costco direction. And it turns out she was cruel. Yes, because to get there through this mall, I had to walk through the food court, and it smells so delicious. But I'm waiting to get to Costco to see if they have hot dogs. Gotta check it out, right? Oh, here's a view of where I am in the mall. Right, there's your boombox, portable wireless speaker, and it's only 350 bucks. Now that I've had the experience of a bidet, this one is only $304. I don't know, man. These racks seem pretty big for this area. Look at the size of these beer cans. More of these big old beer cans. know, the lady that was nice enough to help me with directions asked me if I had an umbrella because rain was in the forecast. Sure enough, it's starting to rain right now. But of course, all the seats are taken inside the Costco. So I am in the place I've found that seems to have the least amount of rain. And yes, they do have the hot dogs here. Got a lot of items that they have in America and a lot of other items. But I got the bulgogi bake. And what's it? The jumbo bulgogi bake, I think is what it's called. And it was 880 yen, which I think is just under $6. So I'm gonna dig in and see what it's like. I had to put my tripod on the receipt. Yeah, I've never had bulgogi before, but it's good. Kind of almost reminds me of a Philly. And the bread that it's inside of has kind of a crispy texture. So yeah, it's like really, really good. And it's plenty. So for $6, if you want to call this a sandwich, it's the most expensive sandwich I've had yet over here. But yeah, it's good. Man, I am beat. I did more walking today than I have in a long time. But I wanted to update on the bulgogi. I changed my shirt because I had dripped some of it on me. And I wanted to be clear that when I compared it to a Philly, I was talking more about the way the meat was cut, chopped, sliced, whatever. And I was kind of judging off my first bite, which was mostly bread, because the bread is a lot thicker at the ends. But then once I started getting more meat than bread in my bite, I found it had a really nice Korean flavor, and it was even better than my first bite. Yeah, so it was really good. And then after I was done with that, the rain wasn't letting up. So I tried to get a taxi to bring me all the way back, which is a long ride. And couldn't get a taxi. Not a taxi, but an Uber. And I ended up calling for an Uber to bring me to the nearest train station, and a guy took it, and it was taking him forever to get to me. So I canceled, and I reordered, and the same guy took me. And so I sent him a message saying, you know, hey, why aren't you coming? And he says just the traffic was so thick he couldn't move. So I decided to be patient, waited for him. He picked me up, and on the way to the station, he asked something about the station. I don't remember what. But I told him that what I really wanted to do was go all the way back to the hotel. So he changed the destination and decided to bring me to the hotel, and that ended up costing 5,400 yen.
5,400 Japanese yen equals
$35.09. So yeah, but I am beat. My back is killing me, and you know, I'm ready to lie down on either the soft or the firm pillow. I haven't decided yet. Probably the soft one though.